Hello, everyone, and welcome to the webinar. We're so excited to see you all here. Thanks for joining us, whether it's your good morning, good afternoon, or good evening to wherever you are in the world. We're going to get started in a moment here, but I wanted to draw your attention to a poll that we're going to be running for the first little bit here, and then we'll use that to get to know you a little bit and where you're coming from. I'm Samara Donald, and I'm the Senior Director of Enterprise and Partner Marketing at Netlify, and I'm so excited to welcome our partners here today from Magnolia. We have with us right now Topher and Matt from Magnolia. And if you give me a moment to introduce them, Topher has a background as a developer, and he comes from product companies, creative web agencies, and startups. He's been at Magnolia for 10 years now, where he's taken on product management. And there he's working to make development fast, fun, easy, and effective. So welcome, Topher. Matt, who joins us as well, is the product manager and a passionate adventure all in one package. He's navigated the CMS industry for more than 5 years, and he's now on a mission to make Magnolia even more robust, flexible, and fun to work with. So welcome to our special guest today. Just a moment of housekeeping items here. You are all in listen only mode, so you won't be able to speak. However, please feel free to put any questions you have in the chat window, and we will be doing some Q&A at the end. So however, when we go through the webinar today, please just jot down your questions in the chat window, and we'll be able to have some time to address for Matt and Topher to address those at the end. We are recording the session, so please be aware of that. And we have a code of conduct, TLDR, just be respectful, be kind, and no solicitation, please. So you can read our full code of conduct there if you like. And with that, let's get to some of the poll questions. Great. So the first question on the poll was, how many services or APIs are integrated into your main project? And we've got the vast majority of participants saying 43%, saying somewhere between 1 to 3. The next category would be 22% saying 4 to 6. So that's amazing. So lots of API integrations there. Second question, when did you start using Next.js? And the majority of you say not yet. So that's great. That's great information for Matt and Topher that a lot of you just haven't quite been exploring with Next.js. But a fair amount of you, 40% combined, somewhere between less than a year and 3 years, up to 3 years ago. So with 20% being from somewhere between 1 and 3 years. So great insight and information. That's great to get to know our audience. And then finally, what rendering approach do you currently use the most? And most of you are using browser-based SPA without much SSR or SSG. About 30% using SSR, 14 SSG, and 11% ISR. So super insightful information. And I know Matt and Topher will take that into account as they're talking through their presentation today. So with that, I am just going to step aside and ask Topher and Matt to take it away here.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Samara. Guys, once again, thank you so much for joining us today. It's really nice to meet you this way. And first of all, what I would like to do is actually introduce you to Magnolia a little bit. So the first section that we have for the agenda for you is to introduce ourselves, Magnolia, the product to you. Second, we are going to show you how you can use Next.js on Netlify, which you might be already familiar with to some extent. But then we are going to jump to the next section, which is the true magic of today's presentation, which is actually visual editing of your Next.js application with Magnolia hosted on Netlify, which is actually quite a strong combo, as you will see. Then later on, it's not only about editing the Next.js app of yours, but it's also actually integrating services into the SPA, so other external sources of content. And then in the end, we're going to show you, because this is obviously cool for developers, but how can you actually share that fun with your marketers as well and editors? So we're going to show you how your editors, marketers, business people, doesn't matter, can actually visually edit those integrations directly in the Next.js SPA. So that's what we have ready for you today. Those are the sections. And first, let's jump into what is Magnolia. So guys, we are Magnolia. Nice to meet you. And our mission is really to take the complicated out of digital experience platforms. talking about digital experience platforms, Magnolia is one actually sitting in your stack, in your company, actually on this place, including actually a small Magnolia Headless CMS, which is part of the package. So Magnolia is sort of like an intermediate layer, bringing all the content, as you can see, from commerce, from a marketing tool, from internal systems, be it new or old ones, into one single repository, which is the Magnolia DXP. You can also actually integrate CMSs, including Magnolia, Headless CMS. And then in the end, you can serve this content out, that's the flower actually like on the top, into different front-end frameworks, be it Angular, be it React, be it Vue, doesn't really matter, or even to Netlify. So you can just like use Magnolia with any front-end, any channel, any app out there. So that's where Magnolia sits in your company. This is what we are trying to solve for you, and we are solving for many companies right now. And on the market where we actually sit, if you have two axes of different CMSs, so some of them are actually, there's a speed axis, horizontal one, and there's a power axis on the other side, where what you usually have on the market is just like this headless cloud CaaS cluster of solutions, where you get plenty of speed because they are headless, they are very simple and so on. But in the end, what you do get is actually mostly just a set of APIs. And this is something great for developers, not so great for the editors and publishers and the business people. On the other hand, we have one more cluster, which is DX Suites here. Think about Sitecore, Adobe, Episerver, and so on. Amazing solutions. On the other hand, you are bought in with a full package of all the solutions from the vendor, and you are locked in with the vendor. And actually, in the start of the project, usually you just get much more than you actually need. So that's the challenge here. Magnolia, we sit on a sweet spot on the market. And the reason is because we are on one hand headless, we are a headless CMS, but on the other hand, thanks to being a DXP as well, remember this picture here, we can bring these best of breed tools, be it your commerce, marketing, internal systems, into one single package, and therefore get quite a lot of power with a few steps as your project slowly evolves. So that's where we sit. That's where we enjoy actually sitting on the market. So, and we got to this place thanks to being really strong in three main pillars. One of them is developer experience. So Magnolia is done by developers for developers. Second, we have superb author experience thanks to the visual editor that you can use in Magnolia. You will see it in a bit. And last but not least, we integrate all these sources together. So superb developer experience, great author experience, integrations, forms one big package, which is called Magnolia. And today, what we want to show you is how you can actually have fun with Next.js and Netlify and Magnolia all together. And we're going to show it to you in a special way, which Topher is going to guide you through. So Topher, jump in.
Exactly. Thanks, Matt. And hello, everybody. Yeah, we wanted to make things a little bit more engaging today. And we're going to do that by taking on the roles of developers. So Matt is going to be learning about how to empower marketers to do these integrations, right? So let's kick it off.
Awesome, cool. Well,
yeah.
Like Topher said, I'm going to be the student today. So I'm going to be actually like you guys, and we're going to all learn together about how to do these integrations.
Yeah, so Matt, I mean, what do developers think about Headless?
You know, if you ask me as a developer about Headless, it's actually, developers do love Headless approach, right? It's because you have decoupled systems in your company, and you are not locked into a front end which is provided by your CMS, but you can actually choose any technology, which is fair, right? Because we are all different. Sometimes it's a matter of taste. Sometimes you have to use a certain framework because it's been there for a long time. And that's why it's cool to be able to free anything, to be able to choose anything that you like.
But I mean, what's so great about not having, I mean, if a CMS gives you a head or an e-commerce gives you a head, what's so great about not having those?
Because you can choose what you want. You can use your favorite stack the way you want it. And also you just choose the head that you want. And also you can bring in other systems together, like integrate more things together, because it's only coupled based on the APIs, nothing else. So that's what I would answer. If you would ask me as a developer,
yeah.
That's what I would actually say.
Yeah, well, yeah, that's all good. And, I'm happy that you as a developer are happy you can do that. But, from the marketer and content author side, Headless is not all the rainbows that it is for developers. So, as a marketer, if you're integrating everything, does that mean that anytime that I need an integration or connect a new thing, connect some products, that I always have to go back to the developers. How can I work with integrated services if I don't have developer skills?
If you are an editor, normally you can't, but we want to share that fun. So how do actually marketers get into the fun? Actually, how can they?
Yeah, that's it. Well, that's exactly what we want to look at today, because Magnolia can provide essentially a great UI for marketers to both build experiences and do all these integrations.
Awesome, cool. So we are going to integrate something today, right? What are we going to integrate?
I think it'd be cool to look at like the two most common use cases that we see, and that would be like bringing in external assets from a DAM or digital asset management system. A lot of companies already have that, and so they want to use those resources in their DX experiences, right? And then the other one, of course, e-commerce is huge. So people want to show off their products in a better way, so they reach for a CMS or DXP. So let's look at how we can integrate products from an e-commerce system or PIM.
Cool, awesome. So let's jump into that, right?
Yeah. I think before we go into the nitty-gritty, I think it'd be cool to show everybody something a little more concrete. Like, what are we actually talking about here? So to do that, maybe we can take a look at a Magnolia demo project. This is like a pretty sweet built out experience here. It's quite sophisticated. It's a big landing page. We've got some content that would be like, getting people interested in the products, giving them a bit of context or a story around it. Then we've got, links to specific highlighted products right on the homepage. Maybe we want to have a campaign running to encourage people. Maybe they came in on a UTM link from Google campaign or something like that. So this is what it looks like in the experience side, but how would a marketer interact with this content? Do they have to go into some like deep form structure or what? So let's just take a look at how they would edit that. This is Magnolia. Jump into the Pages app. We've got like an app for each function or thing you want to do, kind of like a smartphone. And here for this site, we actually have multiple sites for different countries with a master site. I could dig into that page structure, but here we are. And we can see for an author or marketer, this is completely intuitive. They're basically in the exact same website that we were just looking at. So if they want to edit something, it's pretty clear. They can just go to that exact content. And for example, here's these products. Go ahead and click on it. We've got these green bars. You can go in, see what product is selected. We can select a new product. And this is already seeing like integration with an external, in this case, Commerce Tools system. So I think that's a good overview. Hopefully that makes it a bit more concrete, what we're talking about. So let's see, maybe we can get started then.
Yeah, sounds good. Actually, this is quite elaborate, right? So how do we get to something like this?
Ready for Act 1?
Yes, ready.
Okay, let's kick it off. So first, we're going to look at Next.js on Netlify. And this is how easy it is and fun it is with Netlify. I think let's start it off by just, total foundation. Let's just boot up a Next.js app on Netlify and see what that's like. So, at Magnolia, we really love Netlify. It just does the job so well. And for a developer experience, it's a perfect match because Magnolia, unlike other CMSs, you configure everything in files. So just like Netlify, we are completely based off like your Git repository, and everything is linking from there. So, Matt, do you have a GitHub account?
Yes, I do.
And do you have a Netlify account?
Yes, I do for a long time already.
Okay, then can you log into Netlify or go to their homepage and you'll see the starter, the Next.js starter.
Yep, totally. Actually, I did that already before, so I got a bit of prep so that we don't have to wait for too long. This is the starter of Next.js on Netlify. I found it. I just simply Googled for Next.js and Netlify, found here. And it's actually really cool because what they say is actually true. You can get started for free, one. And second, it's very easy to set up. So once you follow the tutorial on the page, this is the starter that I managed to get up and running.
So how long did it take to get it like deployed and running?
Well, it was actually like couple of buttons. I clicked deploy to Netlify. I cloned the repo, deployed to Netlify. It was like 5 minutes. It was really easy.
Okay, that's crazy. That's really cool. Okay, then, let's take it to the next step, which is we want to load your Next.js app in Magnolia, right? So, that's like the first step to letting authors work on it, which brings us to Act 2.
Yes.
Visual editing of Next.js. So, do you have a Magnolia instance set up?
Yes, I do. Just let me change to it. Yeah, here it is.
Okay, cool. Yeah, okay, nice. Do you have that folder I sent you?
Yes, I do.
Oh, you can go into Pages app or whatever. So basically, these are what we call light modules. I mentioned that's working on files. So each of these directories just has basically configuration files, YAML files, following a certain convention. And all we need to do to deploy those to Magnolia is drop those directories in Magnolia's light modules directory down there.
So into this empty module.
Yeah, just go ahead. Yeah, exactly. We don't have anything. Now this is going to configure our whole configuration, our integration to Binder, into Netlify and so forth.
So is it now picked up by Magnolia?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's picked up. It's ready to go. So maybe you can, the last step we need to do is change a template to point to your Netlify project. So could you do that in VS Code?
Yep. So we go to those slide modules, right? I have my templates here.
So these are yeah, exactly. So this is basically where we're configuring the page. And the key thing here is the base URL. You can hit your local development server, which is super convenient. But of course, now we want to hit Netlify so that others can author. So go ahead and just put in the URL for your Netlify project.
So I'll just actually comment these out because I will not need them. And this one, I will just change this line to point to the spot.
Yeah, exactly. To that Next.js on Netlify. There you go.
So this is my starter, the one that I just deployed from Netlify. I save.
Yep. And you're good. It's taken effect.
Awesome. Meaning that I can now go to the Pages app, right?
Exactly. Please go to the Pages app and now create a new page. Now we need to name it something specific, Next.js SSG minimal.
Right.
Because that's what the project specifies. Exactly. And choose that template. And this is the template we were just working on in the YAML file. Go ahead.
So it will also include the site generation.
Maybe name it something like stylish urban travel hits. We're going to come up with this little scenario.
All right.
Nice.
Awesome.
Okay. Okay.
Now my app is actually loaded within Magnolia. The Next.js SPA is inside, right?
Yeah, you did it. So
awesome.
That's pretty cool. Yeah.
This looks great, but it says stylish urban travel site. So how do I make this editable so that I can change the text?
Right. Yeah, exactly. So now we need to, I've prepared another little sample app for you. Do you have that sample code that I sent you? We could replace the code with that Netlify starter.
Awesome, cool. So I actually deployed that app already also on Netlify, and I have a special link to it. It's slightly different to this one, but I will just load that in another app. So you see the URL now. I'm actually going to change that to a different one, to this one, like this. I uncomment this line because we will need that actually. And now I have changed Magnolia to point to different front-end project, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay, so I will close this. Well, let's try that again.
There we go. Okay. And you can see in this project, we've already wired it up. Okay, you've got the title there, but we've already got these areas where you can add components. So why don't you go ahead and add like a headline?
Cool. I'm gonna just like select the headline here, next. And
so just in the background, I mean, basically what we've done is, in the CMS, we've configured a component for each thing an author can add. And there's essentially one CMS component for every React component that you want to give your author control of.
So right now I'm actually editing an SPA application on Next.js.
Yeah, you're editing your Netlify Next.js project.
Cool stuff.
Yeah. So, and there's another thing you can do I'd like to show you. I think you get the idea of the editing, but you can also create additional pages. In fact, you can create as many as you like. So could you go back to the Pages browser and go ahead and just add a page while you have that one selected.
Awesome.
Maybe name it like, Mother's Day specials or something.
All right, I'm going to select the same template as before, right?
Mhm.
And Mother's Day specials.
You can imagine you're running a campaign, you're, as a marketer, you want to create a new landing page for a certain campaign or whatever. Then you can just spin up these pages, and here you go. Again, you've got complete freedom. Of course, developers are still like, in full control of the app. For example, that top navigation bar, that is like hard coded in the Next.js app, kind of like where we came from. And all we're doing is essentially opening up little windows, or little areas within the project and giving marketers the ability to change things there. So you can still add, any of your own kind of hard coded pages, or on the page, it can be hard coded, but you can always like open up the editability. You're in control as a developer, is what I'm trying to say there.
Cool. So I can see that I can like create pages and trees and everything, but this is all just content, right? How do I integrate services into this?
Good question, Matt. And that brings us to Act 3.
Yes. Integrating services.
Let's look at integrating services. And I think the best place to go here to check this out is really just to jump straight into the code, because that's the whole point, is that, with Headless, as you mentioned before, developers have complete control. That's what makes them so happy. If they want to do an integration, they can do it, and they're happy. They're in their own language and so forth. So could you jump into the front-end project, maybe into utils? Oh, you were actually there, sorry. Utils, yeah, look at commercetools.js, and maybe just scroll down a bit. Here we are, get products by filter. I mean, this is just one example, but the point is that with Headless, you're free to do whatever you want. You're in your own world here, right? You can just hit an API, get the response back, map over it, create a product component for every response that comes in. So it's all good for the developers in this case.
Mm-hmm. So actually, in this template, I have freedom to program just like any integration, right?
Yeah, as a developer.
Awesome, awesome. But getting back to marketers having fun, this is obviously cool, but we're looking at code. How do actually marketers can integrate this kind of stuff and can work with this kind of stuff? The developers get ready for them.
Yeah, I mean, with just a off-the-shelf Next.js app, they can't, but that's where Magnolia comes in again. Which brings us to
section number 4, which is
visual editing of integrations. Let's see how we can enable those authors to bring in services.
Awesome, cool.
Yeah. So, out of the box, Magnolia has connectors for like the most popular enterprise services. So for DAM, we've got Cloudinary, Binder, S3. On the commerce side, we've got Adobe, used to be Magento, Salesforce Commerce Cloud, used to be Demandware, BigCommerce. And of course, if we don't have an extension, you can provide your own extension to do the integration with other services. And the key thing for these connectors actually is that they're providing a UI widget. So they're providing like a chooser that connects to the external system to show you the content there so you can pick it.
Okay, so and then marketers can actually use this chooser to choose what they want to show from the external system.
Yeah, exactly. So let's take a look at this, huh? Go ahead and add an image component. Maybe go back to your stylish urban travel.
Yeah, good one. It's cool that I can have actually many pages open.
Yeah.
All right, and I choose an image component, right? I'm going to put it after the last component. And if I select that,
and now you can see it's taking a while because it's making that that request to the external service.
and I can select Magnolia assets or binder. So binder, actually, this comes from a different system, from different.
Binder is a total other platform. It's a SaaS service. We have a binder account. We have products there. And yeah, now you can choose any image from there.
Cool. So I chose one from Madrid because we have coming up in Madrid of the stylish urban travel hits. Cool. Anything?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so maybe maybe we can take a look at what it takes to configure these integrations. Okay. You know, the key thing, really, the linchpin is like having that dialogue, which is what just popped up there, that somebody can enter, you know, the connection into. They can get to the chooser. So let's take a look at that that dialogue. Yeah, that's right, exactly. Go into the dialogues directory, dialogues, exactly, and you can see here's like this convention going on, and this is actually all you need to configure that box. You've got the label. Now we're talking about a product. We'll show the product picker, and we've got two properties, and one of them, the product ID, that's being generated by this e-commerce product link field. So that is what's generating the chooser for products. And then just to demonstrate another simple field, we've got a title down below. So you can see how easy it is to configure these connections. I could easily add 3 more fields for like a subtitle or an alt tag for an image or whatever I want. So that's what needs to be connected to your React component for the product. So let's take a look at this in action then, and remember these two properties.
Awesome, cool. So we defined the template for the component now, and what we are going to do, we can edit. We can now use it on a page as an editor.
Exactly. Mm-hmm.
Cool. So I'm gonna. There is. Okay, that's what we have actually just defined, right? This is product, components, the two properties.
Yeah.
Product and title, like you said, and the product. Okay, where is this coming from? I don't have this in Magnolia.
This is coming from Commerce Tools now.
Okay. All right. So it's like two systems together. Awesome.
Yep.
The chooser is quite cool.
Yeah, this is the product picker is quite nice. Exactly. And then we had that little title override. That would be, you've got a title coming in, but again, let's give the marketers control. Maybe they want to override the title and make it something that's more appropriate for the whole Madrid thing. Exactly. Just a little example. Yeah. So that kind of shows you the power of mixing and matching a CMS with the product system. We didn't mess around with the product in the PIM. We just overrode it locally. So now you can see that, I mean, of course, this is a super simple example, but it's, you know, it's showing this combination of CMS content that's native, images from a DAM, products, and I could build up a page and build up experiences like that with services, all of my existing services, or my best of breed services. And, you know, basically those two properties for the developer, those two properties, they just come in as props on your React component. So it's super intuitive to use as a developer and to wire up the dialogue to the component. So, hey, Matt, maybe should we publish this page then?
Yeah, totally. So me as an editor now, I'm happy with what I see. So I select preview page. I can actually look how it's going to look real in action, how my Next.js application is going to look like. Now I'm going to hit publish.
And that's the last integration we wanted to show you today, the Netlify integration. So here we've got this really convenient integration. You know, some people on Netlify, they have 15 sites, you know, so you might want to, depending on your network or constellation experiences, you might want to trigger rebuilds of different sites that you have.
Sweet. So I'm going to choose the one that I just created, actually, publish it there.
So that list was also coming from the Netlify website, if it wasn't obvious.
Yep. I had 2 repos, exactly 2 sites in Netlify, and those 2 actually showed in the chooser, so that was cool. And now I actually need to. There's a workflow on the publishing as well. So this is something that the editors can use. But right now I'm just going to rush through to get the request approved. Done. Okay. So what now?
Well, maybe how about do you have your Netlify account? Are you logged in there? Could we take a look at your? I guess it's pretty easy to jump in there. I'm just curious if it actually triggered the build there.
This is my site, the one that I pushed it to. And it's building. It's actually building for 1 minute already since I clicked the publish button.
Nice. Okay, well, while it's building, why don't we wrap it up, huh?
Oh yeah, it's gonna take a while. So let's do that.
Okay, cool. So hey, we started out today with kind of standard headless in action, deploying on Netlify, basically developer's paradise. And then what Magnolia is adding is essentially like a user interface for marketers, right? We let them build up digital experiences by themselves. They can combine content and information from all the services that they already have or their favorite services. And once the developers have set it up, they don't need they're not blocked. They don't need anybody's help anymore. They can just go, in a day, if they're inspired, they can make it happen. They can publish it live, which means that as a developer, you're not going to get all these change requests, right? You can move on to the next project and do the fun stuff rather than just maintaining things. Yeah, so marketers now can, as we call it, marketers having fun, right? They're not blocked. And of course, there's other things that we didn't show you today. You can place sign-up forms from marketing automation system. You could integrate personalization segments from your CDP or CRM. You can even have external content from another CMS. Why not? Many companies have several CMSs in-house. And then you can also display things from like Google Analytics or other content performance or social intelligence systems right in the UI, so that content authors can get feedback on how their content is doing. Yeah, so I think that's what we wanted to share with you today, but I wonder how that build's doing.
Let's check. So the build is done. Actually, site is live, so let's check it out. So now we deployed just by pushing the publish button in Magnolia. We triggered a Netlify build and got the page live, up and running on Netlify.
Nice.
Everything that I just edited. Nice, cool. Cool.
Okay, great. So that's the wrap up. We've got some resources for you if you want to learn more about this. I'd encourage you to scan these QR codes and they'll take you to the websites. Over on the left, we've got the Netlify extension. That's what lets you do that, triggering Netlify as soon as your authors publish. And on the right-hand side, we can get you started with Magnolia on Netlify. And then down below, and I think we'll be sending these resources to you in follow-up email, right? So
yes, we will. We'll be sending out an email with all of these resources and more.
Perfect, perfect. So then down below, you've got some more advantages and even a technical blog post to help get you going there.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Matt and Topher. This was highly educational. And as a marketer myself, thanks for bringing me in on the fun, for sure. And I especially liked the memes. So thanks for also making my day very fun, for sure. I think I would like to work on the Stylish Urban Travel Hits website very much so. This feels like my next adventure. Maybe I can get your help building it. Okay, great. Well, we're going to get to the Q&A now because there's some really great questions in the Q&A. But first, thanks everyone for sticking with us through the presentation and for coming this morning. And as promised, we've got 3 Amazon gift cards. It'll be a value of $250 US, in whatever local currency you're in. So I'm going to read off the names of the randomized winners, and then we're going to email you using the email you registered for the webinar. However, if for some reason you don't get that in 24 hours, please feel free to email events@Netlify and we'll help you claim your prize. Okay, so the first winner, Matt, I might think you were going to do a drum roll for me. Our first winner is Derek Cwik, CWIK. Congratulations, you are a prize winner.
Congratulations.
Lisa, put the names in the chat window, maybe, or I can. And then the second winner is Liang Sun, Liang, last name Sun. And finally, Rosa Taveras. So again, congratulations. You should be getting an email from Lisa at Netlify. And if you do not, please email events@Netlify and we will help you claim your prize in your local currency. Okay, and with that, let's get on to some Q&A. So our first question, and I'm going to reframe this a little bit, but is really about how Magnolia works with Uniform. And I know we're all close partners of Uniform as well. Is there anything you can tell us about the Uniform integration?
I guess it's possible to integrate Uniform. There is no Uniform integration the way there is to Netlify. Uniform is definitely a very interesting product. It's definitely worth checking out. It's somewhat similar to Magnolia, but it's coming from a very different direction, I would say. So it's even more focused, if that's even possible. It feels like where they're coming from is sort of this both personalization and integration side, whereas Magnolia has a lot more kind of in the box as far as multi-site, multi-language, multi-everything really, multi. So there's just, it's kind of different angles on similar things, but they're both focused on bringing many services together. So
excellent. And we can certainly include some additional resources. We have seen our Netlify customers use both Magnolia and Uniform. We'll see if we can't pull out a case study that looks at that.
Oh, yeah.
Awesome. Okay, next question. Question from Vitaly. I'm gonna actually jump to his second question and come back to the first, but he was wondering why y'all selected Next.js and what advantages would that have over another framework. He was mentioning Next.js.
That's a great question. And, we often do blog posts or material about, integrating with your front-end framework kind of thing, and making it generic. We don't want to leave anybody out, because actually we can integrate with any front-end frame. Well, we have special integrations for, React, Angular, Vue, but if you want to do it, you can do Svelte and so forth. And I know Netlify supports all the Jamstack frameworks, but Next.js is just very, very popular, and we just thought it'd be fun and to be a little bit more focused and specific, and just do one. But basically, pretty much everything you should be possible on all the different frameworks.
Excellent.
That's what I would say
Excellent.
about, yeah.
Great. And then Vitaly was also asking, is it possible to get a look at the live code that you were programming? So if that's on GitHub or you can release it, we can maybe provide a resource to that as well.
Yeah. Not sure if I can share that code exactly. We'll be sharing a blog post from Bartosz that's very, very similar. And it's going to give you basically it gives you everything you need to know. We added a few special things about the integration, but I think if you look at that, you'll understand, understand everything. So.
Okay, very good, very good. And I'm going to grab one more just in the interest of time. This person asks, are there common reasons why marketers might resist a headless approach? And is there anything that they miss out on that they could have available, maybe in making the case to a marketer to use this approach?
Yes. Headless has been so popular, and especially kind of driven from developers. I don't think marketers would have come up with a term like headless. It's not that attractive. But basically, one of the things where we've seen a lot of projects actually fail with headless is the authoring experience. And that's kind of why we made such a big show of that today. If you use, often a headless project is done with, like we said, these really fast headless CMS. These headless CMS are great, but one place where they kind of fall short is that one-to-one visual authoring experience. Now, for some projects, you won't need it. If you don't have many authors, or if you only have one and they're using it every day, maybe they can learn, find how to navigate within these forms and lists and so forth. But especially if you've got people developing experiences, or maybe they're not using it every day, then it can be challenging to come into an environment like that and know where to go to edit the thing that's on the page. So there are some issues that you need to consider. You don't have to go headless. It has advantages, but it's probably a bit more work overall. And you just make sure it's worth it for you.
That's a great suggestion. Great suggestion. Kind of really finding the need set of the marketer as your maybe internal customer. Great. Well, awesome. This was so informative, and we really appreciate you coming to talk to this audience about the integration between Magnolia and Netlify. And we're just so excited to continue to be partners with you. And as mentioned to the audience, we'll definitely have all the resources coming out shortly by tomorrow. So take a peek at those. Again, you've got Matt and Topher's info here that you can connect with them through LinkedIn as well.
Exactly. Reach out with your questions to us directly.
Definitely. We didn't get time. Thank you. If you didn't get time to, we didn't get time to answer your question, please feel free to reach out to them directly. Well, thank you once again. Really, really exciting presentation today. And just thanks everybody for attending. Have a wonderful rest of your day. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye, everyone. Thanks, guys. See you around.